Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wiregrass Haunts. I am your host, Dan Fikes, and I have with me tonight my co-host, Mr. Shawn Gregory. Shawn, are you there, brother?
I'm here, brother.
Awesome, awesome. I want to apologize to everybody for being late starting the show, but we're having some weather issues, and Skype is not playing very well. So anybody that's having bad weather will understand for sure. Tonight's show is going to be awesome. We have an awesome guest, Mr. Jonathan Odom. He is from Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot. He is a paranormal and Bigfoot investigator. So it's going to be a great show. Shawn, I've been wanting to talk about Bigfoot for a while, so I'm finally getting my chance.
Me too. And I'd love to go on one myself. Bigfoot hunt.
Oh, absolutely. When we get to talking to Mr. Odom, we're going to have to get him to tell us how to do that because we can hunt ghosts, but I haven't never hunted Bigfoot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. So, Shawn, do you have any announcements or anything before we get to our guest?
I do not. No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I've got one. Everybody just kind of pay attention to coming posts on Facebook. We're moving into our investigation of Poly Jail, which is in Union Springs. This is our third year, so everybody watch for coming posts because we're going to do some special stuff this year.
I can't wait for that too. That's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Well, everybody, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce our guest, Mr. Jonathan Odom. Sir, are you there?
I am here. How are y'all good? How are you guys doing tonight?
Brother, we're blessed. We're just absolutely blessed.
Always good to be blessed.
Yeah, to me, any day I can walk and talk and breathe and work, and I'm blessed.
Oh yeah. So you've had bad weather up there, I assume?
Yes. It's in fact we just had a thunderstorm to come through, and the wind was pretty high, and we have had so much rain. I mean, I live on a dirt road, and
right.
I think we're gonna have to buy a boat.
Here in Alabama, it's been I think I overrun you. Sorry about that. Yeah, here in Alabama, it's been hot, and we've had a lot more rain than we've had usually, and it's just been hot, and the mosquitoes have been bad, and it's just it makes you long for winter Bigfoot hunting more than anything because you don't have to worry about snakes or ticks or mosquitoes, and it's I'm ready for some fall and winter weather.
I got you.
Plus you can see much better in the winter when the leaves start falling and the brush thins out, all the green goes away.
Oh yeah. And here in Alabama, it's just so, I hunt all year round, and in the summertime, I mean, this year I've lost like almost 28 pounds, just sweating. I mean, it gets so hot. And the only good thing about it is when you're using a thermal camera, everything glows. So if you see a creature, it's going to pop up pretty quick. You're going to tell pretty quick if it's a creature or not. So that's a good thing. But I'm ready for some cold weather.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Now we're in South Alabama. We're down around Dothan, and you're in what, Pale City?
I am Pale City, just outside Birmingham, Alabama. But I will give you a quick little secret. I was in Dothan about 4 weeks ago, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk very vague here. I was around a place that trains helicopter pilots down there, and there is some creature activity that is happening in that area right now. And I was down there about 3 or 4 weeks ago, actually working a private case, and actually, these things have been sighted several times by people that are running to fire helicopters, and you guys know exactly where I'm talking about.
I do.
And it's going to be one that's probably going to be a couple of years. But a lot of the new equipment on helicopters now, especially attack helicopters, when they're training, they use a lot of thermal stuff. So they had got some weird stuff on thermal. They had called me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll come down there and see what you got." And it's pretty wild. There's a river down there in Yossa's area, pretty big river, and that's usually a good indicator these things are around. It's a good source of water, and it's just it's going to turn into be a very good case to work. It's going to be private, which I don't have any problem with private cases. If I have a lot of footage that'll never see the light of day, and I'm perfectly all right with that, And it's so yeah, it's funny that y'all live down in that area, and I was down there a couple weeks ago. But it's very interesting. This creature is I believe this creature is everywhere. A lot of people do not believe that. I believe it's just something. I believe it's in a lot more areas than people realize, But a lot of people don't want to believe that. I guess I don't know why, but I believe that's what I believe. So
when you have so many people around the world, Sasquatch, Yeti, they're in the mountains, they're in the jungles. You find them. It's just too much of a coincidence to have so many cultures all believe throughout a lot of time, even hundreds of years, thousands of years, all the same story, all the same guy, all the same look, Gotta be true.
Yeah. Well, and then that's what's crazy about it is, you have so many different Native American ethnic groups overseas in different parts of the world that has these creatures, and they speak of them. Mm-hmm. Yet, the skeptic does not believe. And to me, I love a skeptic because a skeptic will eventually become a believer. They'll have something happen in their lives, whether it's ghosts, UFOs, a Bigfoot. Well, they'll become a believer. And I think that's the biggest thrill I get now is meeting a skeptic or meeting somebody that says, well, I ain't ever going to believe in that. And then weeks later, have them tell me, hey, let me tell you what I saw. I think that's the coolest part of the Bigfoot investigations is just seeing people and just hearing people's stories. I think that is the coolest part. The YouTube has been great exposure for me, but it's also, I've met some wonderful people, you guys, and more, just a lot of wonderful people, but it's, the creature itself is just amazing. I mean, you'll have people that will believe in Bigfoot, but they will not believe in ghosts, and a lot of times I think, how's that possible? But it is, so it's something that I'll probably do the rest of my life. I don't know. It's just awesome,
Oh yeah. Paranormal investigating. Of course, Shawn and I both have been doing that quite a while. So we really enjoy it, but Bigfoot and UFOs is kind of a new thing to me. I come from the coast of North Carolina, and we've always seen strange things in the sky. And of course, there's a place there called the Green Swamp, and it has some really, really strange things that run around that. And I've seen things that I couldn't say that it was a Bigfoot, but I've definitely seen things that were strange. And but I would, that would be kind of top of my list to do a Bigfoot investigation because I would really like to see one.
Me too.
And have you actually seen a Bigfoot?
Oh yeah. I saw one with my dad when I was a child. I've saw 7 since then. I've got 8 or 9 more on thermal and on camera within 100 yards, within 50 yards. So yeah, I've seen them. They're out there. I couldn't do this the whole time and not see anything, and not just,
sure.
And it's just like I have a lot of idiots on YouTube. It's like, well, sometimes you never show stuff, and I do that on purpose because, as you guys know, with ghost hunting, you may go out 10 times, but that 11th time is when something's going to happen,
Right.
And I have seen it. I've seen it a number of times. I'm working in an area north in Shelby County now where the last couple of months I've seen more the last couple of months than I have seen put together. And these things, it's kind of given me a different approach to it. I'm not your really typical Bigfoot hunter. I'm more, I want my evidence to if you can take my evidence and prove it in the court of law, then I think that's good evidence. You know, I really do. And I want, some of this private stuff I've got, like I said, will never see the light of day, and I'm fine with that. I'm past the point where I'm having to prove to other people. I know they exist. I've seen them. And I think with the YouTube and a lot of my private stuff, it's just, it's just a record. It's an easy way to keep the records. And I've got all of my footage that I constantly shoot footage. I've got it. I back it up all the time. So yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Wow.
Yeah, well, hopefully not wanting to show it to the public won't deny you from showing it to us. We can get together, have a barbecue, and go over some Bigfoot footage. You can show us the ropes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and I take people out all the time because I love taking people out, and I love talking to people about it because something is out there. It's out there. Too many people are seeing it. I've seen it. I've seen the evidence of it, and I just try. And with my Facebook group, Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot, and then the YouTube channel, I just try to get people to think about what they're doing. And I know you guys have faced this with ghost hunts. Well, somebody's got a knock in their house. It's a ghost, and where I'm more of a debunker, and you have to. There's so much Bigfoot crap out there on YouTube that is just being propagated so much. And I think the biggest thing is just people want to have an experience so bad they'll believe anything. And I don't fault people for that. I really don't. That's very natural.
Mm-hmm. So here in Alabama, can you tell me maybe where the hot spots are for Bigfoot, or?
I receive monthly, probably 30 to 40 reports all over the state. From them, maybe 15 or 20 are actual reports of a creature. I believe, and I can back this up with statistics, is they're everywhere. Now you can always say, well, why haven't people seen them? Well, you don't see deer all the time. You don't see raccoons all the time. There's many animals that you do not see all the time that remain hidden. Right now, I have a lot of activity starting in the fall in the Talladega National Forest. Now, during the summer, March through May, June, July, I have a lot of activity in the middle. Now, around January, February, I'll go to toward Bankhead, toward the west, and even up toward north, toward DeKalb County. And I get so many reports, I try to just space it out. I mean, I just believe Alabama, it's like any other state. I believe they're out there, and they're more out there than people realize. So probably anywhere in the state where you have a good flow of water and some rural areas, that's what I believe. And that's what the statistics are showing by the reports that I'm getting. I take in more reports probably than the BFRO, and I keep them. I'm just going to I keep it for my records. People trust me enough to tell me, and to me, that's a compliment,
Sure. Absolutely. Now, I had spoken to a friend of mine just recently, and he was working in West Alabama, and he had said that there was maybe it was a company that had some land out there that he would work for. Right. And he used to go to that property because he used to take people deer hunting for that company. And he said there was a lot of water, kind of like flats out there, And he said he come along, him and a friend of his that was out there, he came along a little section and something was moving, and he shined his light, and he said this big hairy thing was digging a hole, and it's like it was on us all fours, and said that he turned to his friend and said, "Can you see that?" and shined the light back, and the thing stood up and just stepped off in one of the creek-like areas and just disappeared.
Yeah.
And so that was in West Alabama. And I've known this fellow for a long time, and I believe what he said.
Oh yeah. Well, and there's a professor from a well-known university in the state of Alabama that contacted me about a year ago, and he was telling me that when he was doing his doctoral thesis in Bankhead, he saw 3 creatures, and he said the reason he don't think anything about it is because he don't want to be ridiculed in his job. He don't want to lose his job. He's tenured still, but he knows for a fact, and he's a biologist, and this guy has told me. I asked him when I first met him, I said, "Can I just shoot you a question?" "Oh, sure." So I will shoot this guy questions, about habitat and everything else. And this guy says that the habitat supports them, especially year round in Alabama when it don't snow. Yeah, it's a very viable habitat that works very well for these creatures. So it don't surprise me, and I can't wait till he retires. Then I can really, showcase his encounter. But yeah, I mean, they're for people to say they're not, I think they're just not. They're refusing to believe. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
It does.
oh yeah.
And I spend a lot of time in the woods. I spend about 40 to 50 hours a week in the woods. Sometimes I film, sometimes I don't. And I've seen the creatures. I've seen other things. There's been many times I went Bigfoot hunting and saw a ghost or saw something else that I could not put in any kind of box. That happens more than you realize, and that's what people don't realize. Yes, the woods are deep, dark, and scary, but there's also things out there that is not Bigfoot. And that's hard for a lot of people to believe. But you get a pack of hunters together, and me and our women, and you talking, and then somebody will come up to you and they'll be like, "Well, let me just tell you what I saw," And people don't make stuff up. I don't believe that for one bit.
I don't either. We have so many people calling us about paranormal cases, and that's our main focus is a ghost, I guess you would say. We tend to not use the word ghost hunt, so much. There's a lot of people that goes out and does ghost hunting and stuff like that. We mainly go to places that have already had experience with spirits or what they would call paranormal, and right. Same way with these historical places. So when people tell me, hey, come investigate, I have a ghost. Well, I'm not one to just believe that's exactly what they're hearing. I'm kind of like you. I like to debunk things, if you will, right from the get-go. And so people, they tend to sometimes, especially if they're talking to somebody and want them to come investigate, they kind of embellish sometimes, maybe to make it a little better. So they'll be these people, "Oh, I'll rush out and do that." So do you find, do you find people doing that with the Bigfoot as well?
I do. You have your crazy sprinkled in, and you have your people that, like you said, just want to have an experience. And then you'll have one that's completely crazy as hell, and then has Bigfoot on the property. I think that's the crazy one, because you go in and I go talk to them, sit and send them out, fill them out, and they do a little 12-page questionnaire. And then I'll go back and I'll talk to them again, and usually I can pick out pretty quick if their story changes and or anything else. And then I've had them fill it out, and nothing makes sense. And then go in there, and I've got one of my best thermal hits of all time there. And I tried to tell you, and it's not that I didn't believe them. It's just. Yeah, so I do get you get them a lot, and you get people that want to that want you to come on their property, and then when you tell them no, that's a coyote, or that's whatever, and then they get aggravated, and you're like, well, okay, then, it makes it a little easier. But yeah, that does happen. But I just, the craziest thing with Bigfoot hunting and some of the ghost hunting that I have did and the UFO and stuff is, there's been, when I was first starting off, I would not give anybody a chance. I thought it was crazy. But then again, as time went on, I found out, well, maybe they're not really crazy. Maybe they're really having stuff happening. And that to me, that's always the cool thing. It's always hard to judge till you get out there in the field. And I'm sure it's the same way ghost hunting,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They'll either be the total skeptics or they'll believe immediately after they hear some of the evidence, and they'll be blown away. Absolutely. Miss Teresa, if you don't mind asking a quick question, she wants to know, how close have you actually been to Bigfoot? And I was kind of thinking the same question earlier. Have you ever looked one in the eyes from like 10 foot away?
Okay, can you repeat it again just for a second? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I said, how close have you ever been to Bigfoot? Miss Teresa wants to know. And then I also want to know, have you ever seen one look right in his eyes before? Fairly close?
I have. I've seen one within 10 feet in broad daylight. And then on my Facebook page, Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot, I posted Sunday night. We had one within probably 8 feet of us to the left, and I got it on thermal. And that's the two encounters the closest I've ever had. I'm training a new guy. He's ex-law enforcement. So we were sitting in the back of a truck in a big field where we caught some other thermal. And he keeps telling me Saturday night, he's telling me, he said, man, I think I hear something over on the left. And as the seasoned Bigfoot hunter, and you guys can relate to this, you're thinking, well, he's hyped up. He's hearing things. Well, when I get home, when I had the thermal, I turned to the left. I saw it just right there to the left in the dark. But in the middle of the investigation, I made a command decision. Do I tell him and freak him out and run it off or not? And so I got that one. Probably the closest one I've ever got that I posted on the Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot page. I probably will not publish it. So, yeah, that one was pretty much the closest. And the crazy thing is Richard heard it, but I did not. And that's what people don't realize. These things can be within touching distance of you, and you'll never see them. And so yes, I've had them. That's pretty close. I saw a juvenile when a couple of years ago. It was about 20 feet away from me, and I've got that on my YouTube page. And it was just sitting there, and and it was weird. I almost felt that it wanted me to see it, and then it got up and walked away. But the one this last Saturday night was pretty much the closest because it popped up on thermal. Pretty cool. I was very
That's awesome.
So yeah, I tell Richard later. Well, I guess I need to start listening to you, man. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a reason why they can pop up on you like that, and like you said, be a foot away, and you might not know it. And that's why they've evaded people for so long. They know how to hide. They know how to be silent. Of course, they probably got to kill all their meat by hand or stick. So yeah, very intelligent.
Well, and if you read any about the Old West during the Indian campaigns out west in the 1800s, a lot of the cavalry guys and the guys that were fighting the Indians, they would say this. They would say that they just rose up out of the ground like ghosts, and the battle started for whatever reason. And they say that quite a lot. And if you think about how silent the Native American was in attacking in the warfare in the desert, and you wouldn't see them till they were right up on you, and then you equate that to a Bigfoot, you can see where it would be very easy for that to happen.
Absolutely.
Mr. Odom, there's another question in the chat room that I'm kind of interested in. Do you think that Bigfoot is maybe a prehistoric humanoid type?
Relic humanoid kind of like that, or?
Well, my wife actually, she says, do you think they are a prehistoric humanoid?
I'm torn between that and basically like a lost type of ape. And I really am. And the reason why I don't go all the way to the relic humanoid part where they're lost ancestor of us is because from the beginning of people taking down Bigfoot reports, which goes to the 1800s, there has never really been any reports of one starting fires. Which if you were relic humanoids, you would think that would be the next progression. If he was watching us starting fires, you would think, well, maybe you would copy that for some reason. That's kind of why I don't believe that. Now, the reason I would believe it would be more of a lost ape is because it's still, yes, it may do knocks, it may do wood knocks, it may do, howls or screams, but for some reason, it's not made that connection with any kind of tools, and that's kind of where I kind of think, because I think it's just like a lost ape. And I also believe, like I said before, there's more than people realize, so I'm kind of 50, probably 25%, 70-30. I'm probably 70% believing it's probably an ape, 30% on relic humanoid, just for that very reason. I could be wrong, though. I'm open to anything at this point sometimes,
Honestly, what if they were even very ancient to the fact that they were way more intelligent than us and even having underground bunkers with electric heat, geothermal heat or something, Because I would imagine, like being like the Sasquatch being the same as like the ones from the Himalayas and the ones in Americas. They live in an environment where heat might be something to hunt, I would imagine, because when it's winter all year in some of these places in the mountains, there's not a lot of greenery, besides leaves and snow, so what would they eat?
Right. Well, and I do agree with that. I mean, because I think the ones down here in Alabama, in the summertime, a lot of the reports center around lakes. So you've got to be able to hydrate. You got to be able to cool off. And if you're a herbivore, if you're a plant eater, you've got all that you need. And there's an area I go to that has a big pond, and there's like 60 sightings around this pond over the last 60 years, and it's amazing because I think it's a food source. It's a way to stay cool. Not far from this property is big pine thickets where the pine straw is about a foot thick in it. Now you go there in the summertime, it's the most coolest place you'd ever see. It's very weird that it's that cool, and I believe they probably bed in places like that too. But with the Himalayas, with these creatures, you got to have food, you got to have water, and you got to have shelter pretty much. And it's a good question. There's especially the ones overseas. I don't know. Maybe it's a different genetic makeup than these over here. It almost has to be.
Well, do you think that the Bigfoot sightings that's like in Canada and up north, you think those Bigfoots would like migrate down south? Maybe the change of the seasons or whatever. Maybe it's too cold there, or do you think that's possible?
I think so, but I also believe a lot of the sightings in Alabama, the creatures are smaller than the ones in Texas and Colorado, Oregon, Washington State, and California. They're really small. The biggest one I filmed here topped out 7 feet, 8 or 9 inches. I got one 7 feet 10 inches, and the ones out there are a lot bigger. Would they come down south? Maybe. But it wouldn't be because I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think it would be because of habitat, because there is ways to adapt. If you're used to snow, there is ways to adapt.
Sure.
Now, I know for a fact the ones in Alabama do migratory patterns, which I'm going to do a series on that on YouTube. I'm going to make a bunch of people mad, but I don't care, because I'll have people that live in the forest, like one year they'll have all the apple trees are fine, and then the next year everything's eat off of them in one night. You know, and you're like, how does that possibly happen unless there is some type of creature moving around that knows they're there and is following some sort of migratory patterns? I mean, does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, because they'd have to migrate to stay. You know, if they're maybe that definitely makes sense. Most animals do, even people. I migrated from New York.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're thinking about, let's say you're a creature that's 8 foot tall, 300 or 400 pounds, and you've got to remain hidden in your area that you're in for whatever reason is not secure. You're going to migrate. You're going to seek either rural areas or places where people are not going to look. I have a theory that I've talked about a lot on YouTube, and I talk with my private Bigfoot fans. These things are in more rural, urban areas than you realize. And because the easiest way to hide is in plain sight. You know, and there's a lot of reports that people brush off of Bigfoot being seen in small towns. Matter of fact, I actually, in March of this year, I was at a casino in Biloxi where they had one digging through the trash on video. Actually saw the video. It was an amazing thing to get to see that. I often have wondered about that creature. Did he stay on the coast all the time? Because if he did, he's going to burn his butt up. You know, where is that creature now? So I definitely believe that they migrate. I just believe they have to. Tactically, it's sound too, but I also believe there's some that stay in one area for years. You know, so.
But
my wife was also asking, are there different color Bigfoots?
Oh yes, I've seen a tan one. I've seen a sable colored one. I've seen a really dark brown one, and this place I'm investigating the last 2 months, I have seen one that is totally black. It measures 7 feet 4 inches, and it has no fur. And I don't know if something is wrong with this one, if it has had the mange. I don't know if it's an older one, but the last 3 times that I have seen it, it has looked at me dead in the eyes and walked off like it did not give a care in the world that I saw it. And the only reason I got it to go a little faster is because I pulled my camera up and it hauled. When I'd have my camera on my side, no, he was just like, hey, I see you, but I ain't taking my time. But the problem with this creature is I've asked everybody that's been in this area, hunters, men, women, and children, did you ever see this one? And nobody has ever seen it. It's the first. Apparently, I'm the only one that's ever seen it. And so I'm kind of in a quandary wondering, what is this? It is a creature. It seems to be, and the facial features seem to be like a creature with fur, but the one kicker is it has no fur.
Well, maybe he's just being a rebel against mom and dad, you know, decided to shave his hair off.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's just crazy because I've never seen one that was black as ace of spades like this. And now I've been told stories about people seeing them that were black like this, but I've never seen one. And it's kind of, it's like, okay, now I go out, I look for it, and it's just, I don't know, I'm very lucky. But I've never seen one like that, so I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. On your Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot, do you guys have like videos and audio and stuff of Bigfoot that y'all have captured, or that
yeah.
That's great.
Can you share that link with us?
Oh yeah, if you go on that page, and also my YouTube page, my YouTube channel, Alabama Bigfoot, I have a ton on there. I have there. I'm doing a lot of stuff on Facebook now that I'm just doing Facebook exclusive that I do just for Facebook, and I don't do anything for YouTube. And the last probably 6 videos of the stuff I've captured, the pretty cool stuff I've put on Facebook, because they're a more intimate audience. I've just hit 1,500 members there. They know me. They know my thoughts on it, and I love debate. If somebody can debate with me, and be totally not be butthead about it, I'll debate anybody because I know a lot of my facts. I'm not being cocky. I think them out and I try them out. So yeah, a lot of the stuff is on Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot. So on Facebook side, yes sir.
So, and you said what was the exact name of the website?
It's Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, and then on YouTube, it's Alabama Bigfoot. You'll see my beard and Alabama. I think it's Alabama Bigfoot, Alabama Paranormal Bigfoot, something like it. Just put in Jonathan Odom, Alabama, it'll pop up. So, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly,
I had got one earlier. Is it a? Okay. Yeah. Well, I looked and I saw it was. I sent you an invite, but I couldn't see any photos or anything. I might have been maybe on your private members only.
Was it the Facebook side? It
was, yeah, and it said it just only gave me the option to just join, so it might have been.
Oh yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Okay.
That's it. If you, I haven't checked a lot of it today because I've been in the field, but I can. I'm the moderator. I've got another moderator. It's just you know how it takes over your life after a while, you know.
Yeah,
and a lot of times I'll try to do it just once a day, you know, because I'm growing. And so, but there's nothing wrong with growth, but it's the backside of it of having to be on it all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If it wasn't for my wife, there's no way I could keep up with everything that goes on. I mean, between our paranormal group, web paranormal group, and the radio show, there's just no way I could keep up with it without her. And of course, Shawn, he helps out a lot, and his wife, DeWanda. So, and we have a large group. There's like 17 people in our group, and everybody has a job, and I think we have an awesome group, and everybody just makes it all work. You know, it puts it all together.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
so
well, and I just the main thing I ask on the Alabama Paranormal side is just be respectful. Don't call nobody hoaxers, and it's just, and I rule it with an iron fist because if you have an opinion, defend it. And the biggest thing with the problem to today's society, nobody wants to defend their opinion. They just want to be mean to people. And,
right.
Yeah.
Between hunting Bigfoot, doing Facebook, doing YouTube, like I'm always running a week behind on my video footage, reviewing it, and audio footage. I have a guy that I'm really good friends with in North Carolina that has rigged me up a audio recorder that will record a month at a time. You put 3D cell batteries in it, and it will stay out there and record. So I have 17 recorders out at all times. And then I'll go spend one day just getting recorders, and then I'll review it. I go through Audacity and put the spectrogram on, look at all the black marks, which are the sounds, and listen to that, because that's usually a good indicator of what's in the area or what's not in the area. So between all of that, oh yeah, it gets it gets crazy. And a lot of this, I do it on my own dime, and I don't have no problem with that. I've did some GoFundMe's a couple of times and everything, but a lot of it I do it on my own, and I don't mind because it's I just consider it sharing my my research with other people. You know, I'm a different sort of Bigfoot hunter because I don't believe a lot of the Bigfoot bullcrap that's out there because it can't be proven. You know, so.
Well, what about? I was watching something a few months ago on TV, and now trust me, I don't agree with all the paranormal shows or anything like that, but this was something where people were actually hunting down Bigfoot, and they were going to shoot one and bring it back and prove it to people. Now, I don't think that should occur.
Well, it's not going to occur. I mean, I know two of the members on that team, and it's not going to occur. They're not that good, you know. And it's a TV show, and you guys know too. I've met Jason and Grant several times from the Ghost Hunters, and these guys are the real deal, you know. And of course, when you go on TV, just like YouTube, you cut us so much out. but I do know of them guys. I've met two of the members, and I don't. They're not ever gonna do it. They're just not. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, does that? I mean, it's a TV show. If they do it, they're not gonna have a TV show. And one of them claims to have did it. I don't believe him for a second. He's a bullshit artist. I'll tell him what his face he is. Yeah. And I just don't have. There's like you guys in the paranormal. There's people that do the groundwork, put in the time, and then there's people that don't. And you can figure that stuff out really, really fast.
Right.
And I went to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
No, and it's just like with team members. I mean, I've had two good team guys, and I've had some that's just, once it gets boring is when they want to quit. And you're like, well, no, this is what we do. You never know when something is going to happen. And I think my wife has really told me here lately, not everybody is going to do it as intense as you and as much as you. And I've had to really have that understanding with myself, and I'm sure you guys too have had that same understanding,
Yeah. Well, we've got a really good team, and so far, since I've been with the group, it's been, I think, maybe 3 months, Stan?
Yeah, something like that.
Good.
Yeah, we've just had a killer tight-knit group. We try to be there for each other in and out of the group and have dinner every now and then. So, yeah, a good group is essential, absolutely. You'll find one someday. Get 10 people on your crew.
Oh yeah, and that's me. As I've, I don't know. It's maybe I'm just too much of a hard charger. Who knows? Maybe I'm just cursed.
I've always told people that you have ghost hunters and you have paranormal investigators. Ghost hunters are going to go in and spend a couple of hours and run out somewhere else. A paranormal investigator is the ones that sit there for 4 or 5 hours and absolutely nothing happens, and they have fun. They're just on pins and needles. They know something's got to happen, and it never does. But they're content with that. They get up and go to the next investigation.
Yeah.
And it takes a while, it could be forever. People are so, it's hard to find that one person. We just got lucky with Stan and Teresa. We've been doing it for years and years and years, and just now we're finding a dedicated group, so it does definitely it's a blessing, and it's hard to find, really. But
yeah. And the TV shows really do guys like us a disservice because they condense it all down in an hour. And then when you go on an actual investigation and it's hours and hours and hours and then nothing happens, TV a lot of times does really an injustice,
right.
to people what they're expecting to happen. Because, I love it when somebody on the YouTube channel says, well, you never get anything. And I'm like, well, you wasn't out there 40 hours this week. You of course I didn't get anything because nothing happens. I mean, sometimes nothing happens.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the issues I have with TV shows. I have people all the time, especially where I work. They ask, "Well, won't you be glad when you get a TV show?" I said, "Look, guys, I will never, ever, ever have a TV show because I'm not going to go out here and embellish things. I'm not going to go out here and act, oh my God, I'm scared, or a demon just passed through me, that type of mess. And I'm just not going to do that. And that's not the reason I got into this. And because I want to help people. And I know there's people out there that have legitimate claims and they have nowhere else to turn. And, there's so many people, like I spoke to a lady last night. She has somebody that wants to charge her to do things for her to help her. And I told her to stay as far away from them people as possible. Because anybody that's going to charge them for that is just in there for the money. And I don't agree with that.
Oh, no. And I mean, I have an old friend that's he's in his 90s, and he's did a lot of Bigfoot hunting before Bigfoot got famous again. And he told me, he says, do this first off, and for the love of what you're hunting, and and that's you guys can relate to it. It's the love of finding this creature and finding out. And I've been blessed to gain subscribers on YouTube and the Facebook group to get big, but it don't really mean shit, really. It don't really mean. I guess it means I'm doing good video work and I'm not buying in. I'm debunking, but that's me. I want to remain pure to what I do, and that's why I try to talk to everybody I can. My wife gets aggravated at me all the time, but I don't want to ever let it go to my head. The moment it goes to my head is the moment I quit, because it's not about that. It's about finding the truth, and I'm never gonna find the truth. I probably don't think so,
Well, true. Yeah, but it's going to be fun looking for the truth, and it's kind of a self thing sometimes. Some people ask me, well, what do you get out of this? I get truth that I can find, and I have fun doing this. And, it just makes me a better person all the way around.
And to be in the woods when it's fall, and my wife loves to camp, and we'll go out there camping, and we get done eating, and I'll pop the thermal up and look, and just to be in nature. And with you guys, I guess the flip side, to be in old locations. I mean, to me, that's living. I mean, that's just feeling the wind blow through my hair and hearing a scream, and you're like, it's close. I wish you'd come in a little closer. So yeah, I totally agree with that. That's awesome. And I love to take people out, and then they see something and they get freaked out, and then I pull the thermal up and show them it's just a squirrel. It's nothing. Right. It's just a squirrel. But you love to see that. In this rotten world that we live in, just a little bit of hope of something different, and that's special. I love enthusiasm and people, excited about the unknown. That to me, that's the most awesome part right there,
Right. And that is awesome. And, if I went in the woods and camped, of course, my wife loves camping too, but if we heard screams and stuff like that, and she even thought there was a Bigfoot or something, I would look around, and the tent and her and everything else would be gone. And she would say, I'll meet you at the car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally understand that,
Yeah. But I would absolutely love to go on a Bigfoot hunt. I mean, that would be.
Now, you have one coming up, don't you? A Bigfoot camp on the 22nd of September.
Yeah.
What's that about? What does that include?
Every 2 months, I try to have a meet and greet where we just meet up, and I bring the equipment, and we hunt Bigfoot and just look for things. And people really love that. I really get to know a lot of the Facebook people and the YouTube people, and we usually have 20, 25 people show up. This time we're going to a meal. Do y'all know Frank Lee from up here in Pell City?
Name sounds familiar.
Y'all know Kate Hobson? She does a podcast too.
Yes,
They have been in this thing and investigated. So, but we've had some Bigfoot reports of this property plus paranormal. So we're going to do something there, and I'm going to get together with them guys. But I mainly just do it just to give people a chance to come out and look through the thermal, look through the night vision, and just just talk to people. Just hear people's stories. I love hearing people's stories. So yeah, that's coming up in September the 22nd and everything. Looking forward to it, because sometimes we bring lunch, we sit and eat, and then we'll just just give people a chance to talk to me and kind of hearing their stories. I have a lot of people come and tell me their stories, and I love hearing their stories. I mean, my life is pretty open,
Well, is there any cost for that or anything?
No, it's all free.
All free.
I don't ever charge. I think it's wrong to charge. I wouldn't,
Right. Is there a place that they need to go and sign up, or they just need to show up?
If you go on Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot on the Facebook side, I'm fixing to put some announcements probably this weekend about it. If they click to join, once they join, they'll see it on the meetings that's coming up. And if they just want to show up on the 22nd up there, that's fine too. It just show up and have fun. That's what I usually do. The weeks leading up to it, okay, this is where it's going to be. This is if you want to camp. If you want to be here at a certain time to maybe set up tables, do that. So that's usually where I give the information. I'm sorry I don't have it available to you right now.
Well, I shared your Facebook at jodom.com page on our site and on here on the Voices Carry Network. So and we'll put that out so other people can see that are listening.
Cool.
Now, we all pretty much know on this show what a ghost hunter needs for equipment and whatnot, like Jacob's ladders and EVPs. What's a list of some of the essential things if somebody were getting into hunting Bigfoot? What would they need?
For starting off, I think the best thing is just a cell phone. And for the novice starting out, take pictures. Most of the cell phones nowadays take better pictures than my film camera and better video. It's just a good cell phone, and then take pictures and just review your footage. If you want to get into it a little bit more, you can do digital night vision, which is the infrared reflectors. It reflects back on a digital screen, and the screen interprets it. I have digital night vision, and I have also a thermal. To me, the thermal, you can't hide from the thermal. If it's out there and it weighs 600 or 700 pounds and 8 feet tall, it's not going to have a thermal. That's what I use.
Yeah.
The equipment I use the most is the thermal, pretty much, and especially at night.
Do you have
the digital night?
Do you have any of the?
Great too.
Do you have any of the long range listening devices so you can point farther out and listen? Or
I don't, but I did have them, and it was just a piece of equipment that I really didn't use because I just usually have like a Sony PX333 digital recorder just beside me usually, and it just picks up very well. But I have had that equipment. I just don't take it in the field with me very much. And I have friends that use it. They use them religiously, and they swear by it. It's good for them, but for my type of hunt, I usually take a digital recorder, set it up on the truck, and if I leave the truck, just leave it recording.
It's kind of like we do in our investigations. We'll go in, put an EVP recorder up, and we use the Sony as well, and we let it record all the way from the beginning of the investigation to the end. And we picked up a lot of stuff, good and bad.
Yeah.
So
I know.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. My clothes, I treat with perithium, which is the stuff you get at Walmart that repels ticks and kills ticks and chiggers and mosquitoes. And I treat my clothes with that and just a pair of tennis shoes. I'm very laid back in the woods, so I don't want to be, dressed up too much. So that's what I do clothes-wise. So.
I got you. Now, does that have a smell that would bother the, anything that you're hunting, or no?
No, it don't. It's odorless, and I usually set it up, spray it, let it sit out in the sun. It dries completely out, and pretty much keeps the ticks off of me here in Alabama. So,
oh yeah. Well, maybe we need to do that too. We live out in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff. I've seen ticks crawl on me and then fall off dead. I mean, it's some good stuff. I mean,
oh wow.
I tell my guys on my team, you need to be using this. I want to hear you complaining about pulling ticks off if you don't use this stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, it could be dangerous. Lyme disease or whatnot. Yep.
Oh yeah, and Lyme disease will mess you up. I mean, I have a friend that got Lyme disease. He's a game warden, and now he can eat any steaks or any kind of red meat. And to me, that's terrifying.
Yes, that is hell on earth, I think. I couldn't go without steak and potatoes.
I know. I would have a problem with that, a big problem with that.
Right. Well, you said you were going to only be on for an hour.
Yes, sir.
Not unless you want to keep going. It's up to you. But we got about 3 minutes from the hour, and
Okay.
I did want to ask you one more question. You said that
Okay, sure.
you do paranormal investigations as well. What's one of the biggest paranormal investigations that you've done?
I did one. There's a place in Tallahassee National Forest called Horse Creek Cemetery that has had a lot of Bigfoot and paranormal activity, and we did a couple of investigations there. We've caught some pretty awesome stuff on thermal. And the reason this cemetery is so different is because there's little houses built over all the graves. For whatever reason, I don't know why this is like. It's one of the only cemeteries in Alabama that's had this happen. And we've got some thermal hits there of a lady that has long hair in that one. That's pretty much as paranormal as I get. I quit doing them a little bit after that because I had some stuff follow me home, and it kind of really freaked my wife out. And I thought, Bigfoot's not going to follow me home, so I'm not going to do this anymore. And my dad was a Pentecostal preacher, so I was a preacher's kid, so I kind of knew I was maybe messing around with the wrong stuff, and I just didn't want to do that anymore, So that's pretty much. I get was asked that would be the only big time. I don't even consider that a big time though. It's just an investigation. So
I got you. Hey, that's cool. We just kind of go with the flow, and when people contact us, but of course, we try to go into some of the historical places and help promote them as well, because I think they're tearing down all our historical places that people to visit and that type of thing. And we need to preserve our history as much as possible. And yeah. So and that's why because you're making history with the Bigfoot investigations and things, and that's really, really awesome. And like I had told you in the when we were on before the show, we have some other types of investigations coming up that be a first time for us. And you said that you did UFO as well.
I do. I'm just I don't publish a lot on it because I don't want to draw certain attention, and I do that on purpose. I don't. I will. If y'all will have me back, I will come back on it another time, and I will tell you some of the investigations that I'm doing right now. It'll blow your mind. I'm doing leave you with a little teaser here. I'm doing an investigation about a man that saw a dog man in the 60s that I think is basically a werewolf. And it involves this man, his family, and a couple of Romanian people from the old country overseas that live on another side of this guy's land. And it is the real deal. It is the real deal. It's not fake. And it's one that scared me, actually. And I'll come back on a later date and tell you more about it. But it's wild.
I'd love to hear about that. I've never heard of a dog man. I mean, I have of a werewolf, but you said basically the same thing, or
werewolf? Yeah, to me, dog man and werewolf is basically the same thing. It's just a misunderstood term. That's my opinion, though. So I believe this guy in the 60s saw a werewolf, but his family called it a dog man, but I believe it's a werewolf.
Well, we'll definitely have you back. You just shoot me a message whenever you're available, and we'll work out a date. I definitely want you to come back. Because go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I've got 100 questions that I could ask you, and so I definitely want you to come back and tell us everything you know.
Yeah, because with people do not practice real magic anymore, like Aleister Crowley and Tom LaVey did. People practice fake magic now, but This is something that involves old magic, like with Aleister Crowley. People, back then they didn't have technology to distract them, so they could do real magic, which would bring whatever curse it brings with it. But this is an investigation that involves some old magic that I'm surprised it's even here in America. But it came from Romania, so yeah, I'll tell you more about it one day. It'll rock your world. It's rocking my world.
Awesome.
It's crazy. So well, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and thank you for the opportunity to get to talk to you. I'm a very normal guy, but I just try to do very extraordinary things. So.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you coming on. Shawn and I have been waiting on this, and we definitely want you to come back really, really soon. And we're gonna post your stuff in our group and stuff. And if you get a chance, join our Wiregrass Haunts Facebook page, and because we would love to see some of your updates and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to, and if you'll share it on the Alabama Paranormal, a lot of people is wanting to hear the podcast, and I told them how good you guys were because I've been listening up on you guys, and so he was wanting to hear your stuff too, so that's exciting. So
awesome. Well, we appreciate that. All right. Well, Mr. Odom, we thank you so much for being with us, sir, and we look forward to you coming back in the very, very near future.
Yes, sir. Well, y'all be careful, and thank you for having me once again, and you guys take care.
Absolutely. It was nice meeting you, Jonathan.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you. Y'all be careful.
You too, sir. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Shawn?
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. It's me and you.
That didn't go too bad. I mean, I was wondering if we would have enough questions. Yeah, we could have been on until 9 or 9:30. I think he was just nervous at first.
No, I think he has some other stuff to do.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. But no, that Mr. Odom is awesome, and I've been kind of watching some of the stuff that he's been doing, and I honestly speaking, whenever I first started thinking about Bigfoot and stuff like that, I was a little skeptical. And, that was several years ago. And recently I've been doing a lot of reading. And that's how I came by Mr. Jonathan. And some of the stuff that he got into and the footage and stuff like that, it's amazing. And I'm like, well, how can you not think that this exists? And, because if it wasn't for my background in the paranormal, I probably wouldn't have believed in it either. I had firsthand view of things and things that bothered me when I was a kid and stuff like that. And now the paranormal is just a way of life. I mean,
it is, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And if I wasn't a paranormal investigator now, I don't think that I would be doing anything but just going to work, coming home, and existing. And I mean, of course, I have a beautiful wife, and she and I have fun and stuff like that. And thank goodness that she likes the same thing I do, and she's a paranormal investigator as well. And so, without believing in things like Bigfoot, UFO, ghosts, if you will, I prefer to call them spirits. Without believing in that, maybe life would be a little bit boring, you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like you said, you gotta find. I felt bad that he hasn't made that connection yet. Finding somebody to be in a team with you, let alone, like you said, your partner in life is now your partner in crime and this. You know what I mean? It's something that you can wrap your life around. Like, it is a way of life. You go out, you find it. It's exciting. It's a lot of work, but it pays off. And some people will just sit in their chair and watch TV all day, Stan. You know what I mean?
Well,
you get to go out right? to Poly Jail, spend the night in a cell that somebody burned to death in. Who does that? Right. And
of course, there's always the cemetery. The cemetery over there is so active There's spirits, Mr. Butterfield, which is honestly buried under the theater, which used to be an old church, right there by the cemetery. And when we were there last year, I had direct response from Mr. Butterfield in the cemetery. And I had like a group of 10 people around me, and we got EVPs, we got K2 hits off the charts. And every time we would have a connection that way, my whole demeanor changed, man. It's like I was on a cloud. And I never, ever, ever thought that being a paranormal investigator would make me feel that way. But it's kind of like my drug, I guess you would say. And
yeah.
I mean, and you will see, this will be your first time at Poly Jail. And once you get started investigating, you're going to have to do like I did, just stop and say, wow, because the place is just crazy. And I know Mr. Odom, he has to feel that same way about the Bigfoot and stuff like that. Of course, he's been doing it a long time. And, I was really, really super excited. My very first EVP.
Really?
After we started, yes, it was. I looked at Teresa when we heard that, and my eyes got real big, and I was like a big smile on my face, and I'm like, yes, that's got to be an EVP. That's got to be something, because there was nobody in the room except us, and that wasn't us. So, things like that put me over the top, and you're going to experience that same thing. And even though you've been investigating for a while, you're still going to have an experience at Poly Jail that is out of this world, brother. I just know you are.
Oh, I know I will too. I cannot wait. Yeah. He asked us to put the link on the show. I've got something typed up with the link. Would you like me to put it on his page?
Absolutely.
It basically just says, "Hey guys, here's the link to our show. Thank you for joining Stan Fikes and I tonight. When y'all are done watching tonight's show, please watch the rest." I don't know. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's cool. Post it up, and share it on all the avenues that we have, or and I'm gonna, Teresa, I know you can hear me, my love. Is there any way that you can send Mr. Odom the link to Wiregrass Haunts, so we can share it maybe on his Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot, so everybody there can come and experience the page and tell stories and listen to our stuff, and because we're growing, and thank you very much, my love. But we have a lot of stuff in the works, and our Poly Jail investigation, which is coming up, and everybody, you're going to hear us refer to Poly Jail from here out religiously, basically. It's one of our big ones for the year, and we are getting into other stuff, other investigations that's coming after the first of the year. In fact, we are working on one right now that we'll announce after the first of the year. It's pretty big. It's going to involve several teams. There'll be live video. There'll be YouTube stuff. Of course, all our
not to cut you off. Are we still broadcasting? Because
Yes,
looking at the phone. Oh, okay, all right. I didn't want to.
Yes.
I didn't want to ruin any upcoming events, like you were saying.
Oh no,
I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. Now keep all that to yourself.
I will.
We're still live. We're actually over our break, and my wife says I can't keep a secret.
Neither can I. That's why I looked.
In the paranormal, it is kind of hard, especially when you're excited about something. But it is coming, and we're going to have a really, really good investigation. And like I said, there's going to be lots of photos, lots of videos, we're going to have a lot of Facebook Live stuff, and but we can talk about what's coming up in October along with Polly Jail.
Okay.
We're going to be at Columbia Manor, and we're not exactly sure what date, but we're going to do a live broadcast on Voices Carry. We're going to do also kind of a simulcast on Facebook, and you're going to get to see what all of us here at Wiregrass Haunts looks like. I'm going to hide behind you, Shawn. And so that's coming. And like I said, I'm not exactly sure what the date's going to be, but October 6th down up to the 20th, we will be some one night, maybe two there. Like I said, we're going to be doing a live show. Not sure if it's going to be all for 2 hours, but we are going to do a live show where we'll be interviewing some ghosties and ghouls and some other people, some
famous
special
zombies.
people yeah, absolutely, some special people that Mr. Todd Chandler has coming, and everybody, y'all need to go to Columbia Manor to the haunted attraction that Mr. Chandler has put together. Todd is a super guy, and he just puts his heart and soul in this. And it is so scary, but you have so much fun. And, there's a little bit of a wait, but it's worth it.
Oh, it's so worth it.
Yes, it's so worth it. So everybody needs to come out. And, of course, I've seen Columbia Manor in a little bit different light than most people, because I've actually investigated Columbia Manor. And it's a haunted attraction that is haunted. And I don't normally say the word haunted, but this place is haunted, y'all. Y'all just need to go and experience, if you're way out there, wherever you're at, catch a plane, come check Columbia Manor out. It's worth the trip. Trust me. Those guys just put so much into it. I mean, Shawn, you've gone through the attraction. You haven't investigated yet.
Yeah, I can't wait to investigate, because you could, even though they've got it all made up in there, you can feel the you're being watched, the presence, your hair stands on end. And I know some of it's a show, but yeah, when you do it like you said, you've done this kind of stuff for a long time. You know there's something else there besides the people. Absolutely. So I can't wait to be alone, especially on the stairway.
Yeah, you went over the EVPs that we got there, and that place was actually, anywhere that you go in there, you're gonna find that you have some sort of spirit interaction, even kind of negative in some parts. We had one of our camera guys at that time. He was actually scratched on the back, and we were actually just doing an EVP session, and he was filming, and I know that he didn't bump up against anything because he was standing in my plain view, and he was just standing there, and all of a sudden he said his back started burning. Well, we actually got an EVP at the same room where he got scratched, that told us to get out. And that's
scary.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't want to scare anybody away or anything like that. But honestly speaking, I think that maybe we kind of upset whatever it was there, and it was just trying to give us a message. Okay, hey, it's enough. You need to back off. So that very well could have been my fault. Back then, I was a little aggressive and, kind of maybe pushed things a little far. So that very well could have been my fault. So I'm going to take the blame for it. I'm the lead investigator. I'll take the blame for it. Remember I told you the other day about being in charge? It's just somebody to blame. Well, there you have it. So
Yep. That's all right. I can't wait to do both of them. Probably jail and that one. It seems like it doesn't get closer, you know. But
yeah.
I just wanted to get close.
Well,
So bad.
Once the month of October hits, it's like a speed train. Everything comes and there it is and it's over, you know, and like wow.
And then you're sad. You want to do it again.
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's you want to spend at the Poly jail. You could spend 2 or 3 days there, and get different stuff. And I mean, it was you could even stand outside, I bet, and get EVPs.
Really? Yeah,
Yes,
I can't wait.
The place is just hot with activity, and some of the history. I mean, that place was built in 1897, and some of the prisoners that went in and out of there, you know, they left their mark, their permanent mark on that building. And some things were kind of hideous, things that happened. And you know, when you have situations to where things are really, really troublesome to people or hideous, just plain old mean, it kind of leaves an impression on this world. And I think that that's what happened at Poly Jail. And, you know, so when we go in there, we try to be as respectful as possible. You know, these may have been prisoners, but, you know, everybody serves their time. You know, there's no reason to be in there being ugly to people and spirits also. And that's something that we don't do as Web Paranormal Group. So, you know, maybe that's the reason we have so much fun, you know, when we go to a place, because we're so respectful. And
absolutely.
Yeah, even with private residences and stuff, especially with the private residences, we go in with all the respect in the world. So with you being on the group, what, about 3 months now or so, a little over?
Yeah, it'll be about 3 months, I think. This month, sometime soon.
So what do you think about your experiences since you've been with the group, and what's your favorite investigation that you've been on?
You know, I don't know. There's been so many. I think one of my favorite rooms out of investigation was the doll room for the Haggard investigation, which I'll be posting some of those on our site soon at Web Paranormal and our Facebook. But I don't know. I really like going to the fort and just walking around at Fort Gaines and talking to that guy about all the things he had seen and heard and had actual, I would say, proof from somebody who's been there doing it for a long time. He had relatives that died there or fought there, at least, I think it was. And as he's given us this plethora of information, we're getting EVPs and stuff and just having a great time. It was wonderful. The cannon fire and the sea air was just great.
Right. Oh yeah, I love that too. Yeah. Teresa posted in the chat room, the doll room was the Kennan investigation.
Oh, Kennan. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But yeah,
well,
that was awesome.
Referring back to the doll thing. Now, I don't like dolls. Okay, they just kind of give me the heebie-jeebies. But when we're going to be going back to a place that has dolls, and I'm going to prove to everybody I can go into the doll room and investigate by myself.
I'll do it with you. And you know, and I'll post that tonight on Facebook. That doll room, because I went in there and I personally had something tug on my pant legs about halfway between my knee and thigh. Just a little tug. And then
It was one of
we
those
went in
damn
there.
dolls.
Yeah, and or something. I don't know what it was, but to me, yeah, it spooked me a little bit, and I said something. And then when we went back later with Teresa and Zach and who else was there? I can't think of her name. I'm sorry, but when we were in there, was it Laura? Yeah, Laura. When we were in there, it was 2 minutes, and Zach gets touched, Zachary, and then the spirit box and Teresa are communicating, and it's answering her questions. Like, was I stand too close? And she's like, yep. And then she says, I'm sorry. You know, the EVP, the spirit box, says that it's sorry for grabbing his leg. And I think there was 3 or 4 intelligent answers back to every question she answered. So you better have on, have on your big boy pants, because they're going to get you, Stan.
Oh yeah.
All alone, you're outnumbered. There must be 1,000 of them in there.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I'm gonna give it a shot. And it's just something that I have little clown figurines and big clowns and stuff. I collect clowns, but I just don't like dolls, and I just really can't explain it. But I just don't like the dolls.
Well, they're creepy as heck. I never did either.
I had seen I forget what show it was on TV. Somebody was in a doll room or something, and they were going crazy because they were getting touched, or the doll was talking to them or something. And I just kind of thought about when I was watching that, like, I know exactly what you feel like.
Yeah.
And what's that whole one, Doll Island or whatever it is? I seen something about that one time on one of those shows, and I'm like, no.
That is, yeah, that's I think that was the guy. I think it was his daughter or his granddaughter drowned, or a girl drowned, little girl, and he tried to save her and he couldn't, and then I think he buried her on the island, and then he would collect dowel heads and bodies and hang them in the trees as tribute to her spirit. And yeah, it's supposed to be like one of the haunted places in the world, I think.
Well, you know
Very
what?
spooky.
I don't think that I want to investigate a Doll Island. Okay.
I would for sure go, and that would be really spooky. I don't know if you can spend the night there or not. You think you could make it overnight?
I don't know, man. I would try anything.
Just a cot and lay out under the stars, under the dolls.
Yeah, that would be a really, really weird investigation if you did that and you got EVPs from the dolls, and then you happen to see a UFO, and then Bigfoot would show up. So, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be crazy. So, but with the stuff that we have coming up, are you and DeWanda preparing yourself for the night out?
Absolutely, and I can't wait to use the SLR camera we just built. That's gonna be so cool.
Right.
Be the first time I've ever done an SLR on an investigation.
Well, that's cool. Well, we're gonna give it a shot and see what we can uncover, because that's a few things that we haven't used at Pauley Jail. And I think that's we're gonna do a little bit of different things at Pauley Jail this time, and of course we're gonna put it on Facebook and YouTube so everybody can see it as it's happening. And if we see something, these guys, everybody that's watching will see that. So that's the way I think a paranormal show needs to be. If we're standing there 45 minutes and we don't get any type of response, then that's what happens. I don't think that, people need to class it up, I guess you'd say, unless it actually happens. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I would say pretty much every place we've been with you guys with Webb has been phenomenal. I can't think of one case where we didn't at least get a couple Class A EVPs.
Right.
Definitely a few good orbs. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone has been pretty decent, I think. But we're just that good, I guess. No,
But
I have been on some where it's been hours and hours and never done nothing. Just sit there cold,
sure,
wet.
I have to. Yeah, I have to, and that's okay. Uh, because there's investigations that are things are there, but it doesn't mean they're going to
Hmm.
show up and expose themselves or answer any questions or anything like that. So
Right.
we could go to Poly jail and not get the single first EVP. Um, so, but those people in Poly jail, they like to communicate a lot, and they were prisoners. So think about it. Somebody comes to talk with them, they're going to want to talk back. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Especially, I would say they probably still feel like they're prisoners there. You know.
oh, I'm sure, and all of the hideous events that happened, um, like I said again, they put a mark on that jail, and it's going to just keep revealing itself and play kind of like a residual thing, playing over and over and over. And so maybe we can actually help some of these spirits. We help people with investigations and stuff like that. Who's to say we can't help a spirit maybe move along? Let them know, hey, it's okay. You're not
Absolutely.
bound here, or something like that. And now I'll be straight up with people. I do believe in earthbound spirits. Um, I don't think that everyone is demonic. I do know there's demonic spirits. There's spirits that are just crabby. That's the way they were when they were alive. That's the way they are when they're dead. And so, with that said, some people doesn't. Of course, we don't. If everybody believed the same, there'd only be one thing. So, I
Correct.
think
Yep.
that's a positive thing. Different opinions, and that's what keeps us all alive and keeps us going and keeps things exciting, if you will.
Hmm. Well, I think a lot of times too, people don't want to get out of their comfort zone. But when like some of the people we've been to investigating together, when the one says, "Oh, I've had experience," and the other one says, "Nah, it's in your mind. I don't believe in that stuff. Maybe a little, but nah, I'm not really a believer." And then you show them just one sentence that you got on an EVP, and now they believe 110%, or an exact answer on a spirit box, or just a numerous shadow move for a quick glance. You know what I mean? It changes your life right then, and everything you thought about from then, before then, and on is just like, I should have been looking earlier. A lot of people
Right.
are like that. They won't believe, but then when they're faced to see the truth, they're forced to see the truth, they believe immediately.
Sure, and it's like Mr. Odom was saying, like the Bigfoots. A lot of times you find out they hide out right in the open, and it's the same way with
Hmm.
spirits. They're there. You just have to be able to stop and pay attention to know they're there. And
Right.
I've seen people go in and, well, I'm going to go and do a ghost hunt, or I'm going to go and do an EVP session, and they go in and they immediately start asking questions. And first off, they're just asking repeated questions over and over and over. And a lot of them are doing it because they heard it on TV. And, but a lot of them doesn't give the spirits time to react or to experience anything that's going on around them physically. They don't give them the time to do that. And they're just in there walking around asking questions. And what's the use in doing that when you don't stop and smell the roses? If you get
Absolutely.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like
That's
going on vacation and just looking at your phone the whole time. You don't see
exactly
all the stuff around you. Yeah.
right. And, so that's why I think the way we investigate is a good way, because we give every spirit or every thing that's within our space a chance to communicate with us. Of course, we don't invite anything in or want them to talk through us or anything like that. We give them respect, and we will invite them to use the EVP recorder, or make a light on the K2 come on, or that type of thing. But of course, we don't use Ouija boards. We don't use any witch boards, any type of incantations or anything like that. That's not what we're about. And
right.
Yeah, I mean,
those are powerful tools. They're powerful tools that are not any good. They can be very dangerous.
And this whole thing about a Ouija board at a Walmart, any 13, 14-year-old kid can get that. And of course, what does a lot of people? It's just a game. It's make believe. No, I've seen it work, and it's not make believe, and it's a very dangerous thing, in that world to start communicating that way. And I spoke to actually Terry Todd on Voices Carry, and he and I were in agreement about the difference between using an EVP or a spirit box versus the Ouija board or a witch board. When you physically touch something as you would a Ouija board, then you using your energy to get that response. With the spirit box, it's more of a digital experience. They're using that just like they would if a spirit was in a room. They were draining batteries and something, trying to manifest. We've had that happen. They would use, we've had lights to dim and things like that. Whatever's in that surroundings, that's in the most powerful, I guess, or the one with the most energy, they're going to use that. And if that's what you have as a Ouija board with you using your energy, then that's what they're going to do. And when you have the wrong type of spirit come through or wrong type of contact, then lives can be ruined for a long, 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 long time.
Forever, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said, it's much more personal one, and you don't. I'm not saying that if you're using an EVP or the spirit box that you're not communicating, but it's totally different. I think it would be easier to be fooled by something reaching out to you physically like that. Absolutely. You can let the wrong person in thinking it's a child, and it could be a demon. But yeah.
Well, that's a lot of times a demon will use a child, or come in that type of visual effect. Oh, it's a child. It's not going to be dangerous, or it's not going to bother me. It's just a simple child, or a sweet child. No, they start out that way a lot, and then as they progress, we done an investigation one time that the children had a little playmate that they seen, and then the parents kept wondering who they were talking about, and then the mom started seeing the little playmate, and it got to a point to where the boy, even if they went to leave and go to the store, the boy would have to run through the house and tell his little spirit playmate bye, or else he couldn't leave. Really? So, yeah. So, and of course, I agree that these things can set dormant in your residence and just sit there for years and years and years and years and years. And then one day you're fixing breakfast and boom, your toast comes out with an ugly face on it or something. And,
yeah.
almost in a literal sense. So And a lot of times those things are opened up with things like Ouija boards, spirit boards, anything of physical, any type of witchcraft that's in a negative state. So
Absolutely, and that's why it's very important that when you do start even just the most basic of paranormal investigations with just a tape recorder and a flashlight, even maybe your cell phone, you pair up with somebody who has done it before, so you know how to open and close a session. Make sure you don't invite anything home with you unknowingly, because any way around it could be dangerous. Yeah.
Sure, and of course, everybody has their ways of cleansing their self, preparing their self for an investigation. Of course, as a group, we use prayer. We pray to start with. Sometimes we pray during, and we always close everything with a prayer, a prayer that invites God into the situation. And I think that's a necessity.
I agree.
Because again, I don't want to bring anything home, and I know you don't.
Nope.
I mean, that's we're there to help people, but we don't want to.
And possibly the spirit too, as well. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faith is a powerful tool. Probably our most powerful one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we need more faith in this world. People need to have faith in God, and add Him into things. If you're just starting a group, and you need to add God into that group. If you want it to be positive, and you want to get good results, and we do that. God is a big part of our group, and everybody's in that frame of mind with our group, and I think that's a necessity. And some people just kind of tend to get away from that.
Real quick too, Stan, before I forget, what would you tell all the people at Alabama Paranormal and Bigfoot's Facebook site? They have a little over 1,600, I think it was, fans on that page that were asking about logging on tonight's show. I actually did post it there, but do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, just did you put the link and everything up there?
I did. I know I'd personally like to invite them all to come watch all of our or listen to all of our other shows. We've got a lot of other good shows out.
Sure.
It'd be great to have them all watch or listen.
Sure. And let them know that they can go back later on Spreaker.com and listen to this show. Also, webparanormalgroup.com. You go to our website. At the top, there's a tab that says Wiregrass Haunts. Click on it, and it'll pop up a player, and all you have to do is hit play, and it will bring up the last show we've had. And of course, tonight, if you go ahead and log in or whatever, we have just a little bit. You'll get our show that's going on right now. And tonight after the show, if you click on it, it'll go to tonight's show as well. So, and we invite everybody. Just come and listen in. We try to have fun here, and we're trying to have some of the best guests. And of course, tonight was an awesome guest. And he did send me a message, and he is going to come back. And we're definitely stoked for that one, because I want to hear about the Dogman investigation. That's been kind of one on my bucket list, so to speak. Some things like that, I'm not real sure that I understand everything.
Me either. I'm definitely going to Google Dogman after we're done here, just to get the definition. I know he said werewolf, but maybe they permanently stay in that state. I don't know. That's what I thought of when he said it. Like a dog-shaped humanoid, like Bigfoot always was.
always that, because the old werewolf thing, they change at the full moon and stuff like that. I'm not real convinced that I believe in that, but the dog man. There are strange things in this world that we
I
don't know
agree.
anything about, and if it's something, and I guess people would call it a freak of nature, something that's shaped like a dog, that acts like a dog, furry or whatever, then they have an existence just like we have an existence.
Right.
And they're kind of like us, just running around doing the best that they can do. And
I
that's
wonder if they
why.
have dog breath. A morning breath's bad enough for us. Imagine dog
Right.
breath.
Sure. So, I try not to doubt anything unless I can just totally debunk that. Hey, and I don't like that word debunk. If I can disprove it, that's a better thing. Disprove that it exists, then hey, I'm satisfied.
Right.
But if I can't, there's always that doubt. And well, is it real? So therefore, we investigate. That's our whole frame of mind. Is it real? So we go investigate it more and more and more. And that's what we do.
Exactly.
That's the whole reason for the paranormal investigations. Because I definitely want to know what's out there. I'd like to tell everybody what's out there if I can, because some things isn't so nice.
Right.
And if we can warn people about things like that, we need to do that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, to answer your question, just post in there that where the link to our show, and they can come at any time, now, during the week, whatever, and re-listen to this show or any other show. And so pretty soon our shows will be popping up on YouTube, our YouTube channel. People can go to our YouTube, and of course you are the YouTube man for our group. You're in charge of it.
I'm actually going to post the video from the dollhouse when I get off, so everybody can see it on Facebook and YouTube. I'll post it in our private, so then you guys can review it and put it out on the public.
Sure. Absolutely. And I invite everybody to come and listen to Wiregrass Haunts. We're going to have we got some great guests lined up, and next week's going to be an awesome guest. I'm not going to say anything. Just y'all come back, and I guarantee you'll have fun listening to this guy. And you'll say he does things that'll make you go, is that really? So, he is awesome. And, he's on other shows and stuff like that. But in the coming months, we have a lot of good lineups coming up, and I think everybody's going to have a good time. And I asked, and we got about 6 minutes, Shawn. And I know we didn't take a break tonight, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
But I want to invite everybody to come to Wiregrass Haunts on Facebook and join our group. It's just a Facebook group. We call it Wiregrass Haunts because we're the Wiregrass area. It includes Georgia, Florida, and all the way up into Tennessee. Now, technically, that's not the Wiregrass area, but the Wiregrass goes way up into North Alabama and up into Georgia and stuff. But we want to include everybody that we can. Come join our group. Real simple. We don't have any ugliness in our group. Nobody is going to say anything ugly about you. We want you to post your stories, your photographs, of course, as long as you have permission to do that from whomever took the photo. And we try to get in there every week, post something positive, give somebody some information, and we'll post about our coming up investigations, coming up shows. You'll have the links that you can go to go directly to our show. And we just invite everybody to come in and check us out, because we're trying to do something real positive for the paranormal community and for people that like to see the real deal and experience the real thing. And sometimes we have giveaways and just all sorts of stuff. And if you you join the group and you want to you don't have anything to post right then, just come in and say, hi, this is so-and-so. I just wanted to touch base with everybody and say hi. And guaranteed you'll get some great responses, because we have some great people in our page and the admins. Of course, I'm one of the admins, but all the admins are great. And if you have any issues while you're there, all you have to do is let one of us know. We will fix it.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't be in better hands.
That's right. Absolutely. So, Shawn, do you have anything that you want to say before we sign off?
No, sir. I'm good. See you guys all next week.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm Stan Fikes, and for my co-host, Mr. Shawn Gregory, we want to thank you again for tuning in. I want everybody to come to our Facebook page, join up, tell us how they like the show, what can we do to make it better, and look for coming events and some coming happenings with the show and stuff. So we just want everybody to be blessed, and y'all come back and listen to us next week. Thanks a lot. Good night.
So true, funny how it seems, always in time, but never in line for dreams. Head over heels, went toe to toe. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound. I wanna take it to the world, but now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? Oh, I want the truth to be said. I know this much is true. I know this much is true. With a thrill in my head and a pill on my tongue, there's all the nerves that have just begun. Listening to Marvin all night long. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound, always slipping from my hands. Says the time Ooh.